Hey, how are you guys? This is Harrison Barrett from growthgenerators.com. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you about whether or not you're struggling with your first sale or you're just hitting a plateau and you're not getting further along in your MSP and IT business, because I was there. It is horrible. It's the worst thing in the world. And I'm going to go through every single possible problem that you're going to have and how to overcome every single one of them. This is going to be a longer video, so I'm just prefacing that now. Be prepared, get ready, get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe some water, and we're going to dive in. Before we get fully into this video, I do want to invite you to check out my free online masterclass. It is 1 hour, 5 ways to make significantly more money. So if you are just looking to make more money in your business, you've already got everything in place, you're just like, hey, I need more fuel on that fire, that's the video for you. Check it out in the links down below. So what do you have to do? You've hit a plateau. You are struggling with either your next sale. You are struggling with just even getting maybe your first sale. I heard the craziest thing today from one of my coaching students, and we were talking about it. He's like, well, I don't know how to niche, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to go, I don't know how to call them. So I'm squashing all of that in this video. First thing is you have to figure out what is holding you back. Now, 99% of the time, believe it or not, it's mental. And I don't want to sound like one of those crazy gurus out there that it's like, you got to drink 35 cups of coffee in the morning and 10 egg yolks and do 1,000 push-ups. Like, that's absurd. I don't even start working until like 9 or 10 in the morning most days. But the difference is figuring out what the actual problem is. And is it actually mental, or is it a skill issue that is holding you back? Most of the time, like I said, it's mental. Once you identify what that problem is, going and attacking it is actually not that bad. In this case, he was like, well, I don't know who to target. That is a clear indication that you need to take and learn prospecting, whether it's from this channel in a recent video, probably the video right before this, or another video that's out on YouTube of just learning how to go out and prospect and learning your buyer persona. Once again, available on this channel. But go out and figure out like who you really want to target. Who are you doing a good job for? Who do you know you can knock it out of the park? And then go on Google. If you've already started your business and you're like, I'm just struggling to get my next client. If you focus in tax firms, go online and search tax firms in your area. Click it, search it, and call every single one of them. If you're unsure of who to call, go on LinkedIn, search their stuff, and then go through and say, hey, I do this. You can send them either a DM or call them up and say, hey, I'm looking for Rob. Hey, Rob's not here right now. Hey, no worries. Can you tell him Harrison called? I want to talk to him about his IT. I think that I could probably help him, right? We've helped X amount of businesses in the past. It may be worth having a conversation. Totally free. If you, and hopefully he's open to it. Something simple, something super easy, but simply identifying who you need to go call is the biggest win. Learning how to cold call comes in time, but you have to figure out what that first issue is. So first is figuring out that buyer persona. Who do you actually want to work with? Go watch the last video. It covers that entire thing. I will leave a link down below for it as well. That's number one. Number two is, do you lack expertise? Are you worried that if you do go find a prospect, do you even know how to help them? There is tons of training online or people to hire. You have Upwork, you have, I don't want to say Fiverr, but you have Indeed, you have monster.com, you have all of these resources. You have Facebook groups and Reddit groups that you could go out and look for people or look for help, and Google to say, hey, I need a technician in this area. You could even partner up with other companies in your area to say, hey, look, I happen to be a really good salesperson, but I'm not that good at technical stuff. I understand technology, but I'm not ready to bring somebody on. Can I make a higher percentage commission and only commission if I bring them into your agency? And once you start to build that over and over and over again and build that confidence, you'll learn to talk the talk and walk the walk, and you'll be able to find people just by purely being in there and being submersed in that field that you could either potentially hire on a part-time or full-time basis. Number three is software. It is the backbone of all of this. Now, I talked about cold calling and all this, and I'm going to get to that again in a second, but you have to have a certain level of software. If you were going to work on somebody's computer, I think ConnectWise is the way to go. It does look a little rough around the edges. It definitely needs a little shot of maybe some unicorn in there to like brighten it up and make it look exciting. But as far as functionality goes, it has everything you need. Could it look nicer? Of course it could look nicer, but it's a fantastic software that's going to allow you to grow. If you're 4 people or less, it's $250 a month. Yes, it's a commitment of $250 a month, but your first deal should pay for that probably for the year, and anything after that is gravy on top. And as you grow, you can just keep adding seats. Yes, it is a bit expensive, but for how good it actually is, it is well worth it. Now, I would love to know what you use down in the comments below and why you like it. If you've tried ConnectWise and you switched, let me know. I'd be very curious to hear your opinions on it. But figure out what software you need. After you have ConnectWise, you need a CRM. You need a way to keep track of your leads. You need a way to keep track of your pipeline. I love ConnectWise, but they don't do this well. And they're not shy about it. They make it very clear that that's not their specialty. Their specialty is to provide a RMS or remote management solution so you can work on your clients' environments. What you need is a CRM, a customer relationship manager. There's plenty out there. HubSpot is completely free. I personally use Go High Level. It's fantastic. If you're interested in it, reach out to me, hbaron@growth-generators.com. I will happily set you up. I will show you how to use it. It is amazing. You can prospect on there. You can send emails on there. You can send text messages on there. You can keep track of your pipeline, but you have to have at least those 2 softwares, because one is going to allow you to actually go do the work for your client, and the other one is going to be able to allow you to keep track of prospects, who you've called, who you've spoken to, and ultimately allow you to grow the sales and marketing side of your business. So you have the actual functionality of your business, and then you have the marketing and sales side of it, which is going to be inside of Go High Level. I personally like it. It's just a fantastic platform. I've used HubSpot. Salesforce is a nightmare. Avoid it like the plague. Pipedrive is also good. Zoho, but leave a comment down below if you're even using a CRM and what CRM you are using. I'd be very curious to see what people are currently using, but you need to have those 2. Go High Level is $100 a month. ConnectWise is $250 a month. Have to have those, no questions asked. Number 3, you have to have some level of sales training. If you don't, it's okay. This channel is going to teach you a ton about it. That's what this whole channel is about. That masterclass down below, worth taking. If you're interested, I will also leave a link down below. I'm going to be releasing an entire course on sales specifically for the MSP industry. It's going to cover everything from prospecting in super depth, how to prospect, how to sell, how to cold call, everything you could ever want in that field. But you have to have some experience with it. Go check out Grant Cardone's stuff. Read a book. There are so many books online. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. TEDx by Grant Cardone. As much as some people don't like him, his training is fairly good. Go online. Sandler training. If you need a Sandler trainer and you want to do Sandler training, I have some of the best out there. That's where I learned a lot of this. And I adapted it and changed things to make it really, really work for the MSP industry. But you have to have some level of sales training, learning how to prospect correctly, learning how to close the deal, and learning how to ask for referrals, which I also teach on this channel. But these are critical for growing and getting through that next step. Because if you're struggling to find your next sale, your next sale, you have to have some experience in sales in order to close it, or cold call, or message, or convince, maybe not convince or persuade, but be able to explain what you do in a way that would make somebody want to put money in your pocket. So you have to have that. Number 4 is you have to have a process for sales and for fulfillment. What your process is going to be yours and yours alone. But try to ask. Go find other people in your industry. Go find people on Reddit. Go find people on Facebook. Network with other business owners in your area and ask them about their process. What does their onboarding process look like? How long does the onboarding process take? What does fulfillment look like? What does a sales process look like? What does a sales pipeline look like? How many areas are you going to have in each one of those steps? What is your process for cold calling? And then document it. Document. Because when you document it, you can figure out what works and then what doesn't work. And you can get rid of the stuff that doesn't work and only keep the good stuff. The other benefit to having a solid process and actually writing it down is going through and you can actually hand it off to an employee. Hey, this is how we do prospecting. This is how we do our onboarding. This is how we do our fulfillment. It'll always be changing. It's going to be a living document, but you have to have it written down in a sequential order that you can go through every single time and somebody else can go through. When we build websites, we have a sequential order that it doesn't allow us to miss anything. You have to have the exact same thing for your MSP business in every area. The better and more well documented you can have it, the better. If you want to take it one step further, if you happen to get really, really good with cleaning computers, fixing networks, whatever it may be, post it on your blog. You will help so many people. You'll bring in so much traffic to your website. And just by doing that, you will actually grow your business because people out there want to go to the person that provides information. People reach out to me all the time for coaching and mentoring. I help them the best I can. Some people sign up. I'm the one providing the information. So they come to me. They don't go to somebody else. They don't randomly call somebody on the street and say, hey, do you know anything about this? When you're the one that provides the information, you are much more likely to succeed. So you have to go out there. You have to have a process that somebody can follow and make sure it's repeatable over and over and over and over again. And number 5 is prospecting. I talk about this over and over and over again. It is so difficult. There are so many ways to prospect. Figure out what works for you. You can scrape contacts online. You can message people on LinkedIn. You can go on Google and search different industries and start calling those people. The list goes on and on, but learn how to prospect. Figure out who your target client is and figure out how to get in front of them over and over and over again. And when you do that and you follow the technical skills, the software that you have, the sales, the process that you've involved, it becomes so much easier. So that missing link along that entire chain, because you're always going to be doing all of these, is, oh, I just need to adjust this, or I just need to fix this. And it becomes super simple instead of a huge mental block that is going to prevent you from moving forward over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the journey. I used to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars in business on an MRR basis. I would still get in the funk. I would wake up and I'd feel like I just don't want to do work today because a slight mental hurdle, building a proposal, was like the worst thing in the world. I couldn't tell you why. It only took 10 or 15 minutes, but that 10 or 15 minutes of work was mentally exhausting. And then I realized, like, if I just build out these processes and go through it all, it actually isn't as horrible as I thought it would be. And you're like, oh, I can get this whole thing done in 15 minutes. And my whole day is done. I was a salesperson. Keep that in mind. I didn't have to deal with fulfillment. That was somebody else's job. But when you have everything blocked off and say, okay, this is what that onboarding process looks like, you just follow the steps and you're just getting closer and closer to the finish line. It makes it so easy. It sounds crazy, but when you have that process for everything, it becomes infinitely, infinitely easier. And if you have to think about it this way. Behave your way out of a funk is the best thing that I ever learned. I learned it in Sandler. You have to think about it. If you go through the same thing every single day and you're not succeeding the way you want to succeed, change it up. Go to the gym in the morning. Go to a different Dunkin' Donuts. Go to a Starbucks. Don't even go to work for a little while. Go for a walk outside. And it's not that any of these things are going to be more beneficial or less beneficial to you, but it helps get your brain out of a pattern of doing something over and over and over again. Or what I used to love to do is just, hey, I'm just going to dive in. I've realized I'm in a funk. I know it's not going to work. I'm going to behave my way out of it. I'm going to make all these calls. I'm going to follow up with this many prospects. I'm going to get in the car and just drive to people's offices to see how they're doing or ask them for referrals. Whatever it was, I realized that I was being sucked into this mental state of not moving forward. And it was literally as simple as just changing up my routine to get me over that little hurdle. And it was easy takeoff. So I hope this video helps. If you are struggling with anything, leave a comment down below. I'd love to figure out how I can make a video to either help you. And if you're curious about mentoring or my masterclass, click the links down below. I appreciate you guys. I hope this video helps somebody get over that one hump. And if I help one person make one sale, this video was well worth me staying up pretty late at night. I'll see you guys later.